Welcome to Coach Business. I'm your host and coach, Caryn Gillen. And today we have a special guest, an author. Her book has been out since early August, whatever month this podcast is going live. And her name is pronounced Michal, I believe. Thank you. And I wanted to have her on because she is a connection from a former guest, Rana, that we had on the podcast way back when it was called When I'm in Charge, That'll Be Different. So we'll try to remember to link her episode up here as well. So can you do us a favor and introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here. I love your podcast, Caryn, and I love how authentic you are. So real and authentic, and it feels like a casual conversation we'll have like over coffee or tea, and I love that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So my name is Michal Spiegelman, and like you said, I just released a book. It's called Becoming Soulful. Uh, I'm Originally, I'm a social worker many years ago, but I have grown and expanded myself. So today I call myself a soul coach. I'm a spiritual mentor, a soul coach, an author and speaker. I'm a Reiki master. So I really expanded my perspective and my approach since I was a traditional social worker. I help professionals, coaches, therapists, healing professionals who know that talk therapy is not enough, and are seeking ways to address deeper issues with their clients. I help them to find their authentic ways to uncover root causes with their clients so they can get better results in a short amount of time, and also identify themselves as like their distinct identity so they can stand up out from the crowd. So
Mhm.
I would say that's the first like type of audience I love to work with, and I also help professionals that are at crossroads to sometimes when they feel that something doesn't feel as exciting as before, or they're unhappy suddenly. So to really search a way to create this change that their soul is really craving, that they'll create and step into the next evolution of their work.
Mhm. So is being soulful about, does it create a lot of speed for people?
That will not be the first word that I'll choose, like speed,
Uh-huh.
actually. Interesting. What made you say speed?
Something that you were talking about, helping people get past what you can get to in talk therapy. And like, it
Mhm.
seems like there's some shortcutting that you can do if you're willing to live there.
Right. So it's interesting because nobody ever said to me like speed, but
Yeah.
when I think about it now, in my mentoring, in my coaching, I'm very well known to getting the best results in the shorter amount of time. I do believe that the method that I developed, the Soulful Healer method, really helps professionals to get quicker to results. I just never use this word. So good job on picking up on that.
Maybe use that in your marketing. That's what I'm always thinking about. For most of us coaches, our clients are going to get a lot of the places they would go either way. But I think when we hire support, it can add speed and it can add grace. So I'm always just looking for those two
I
things and
love
how
that.
they show up.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
And I also think that us as professionals, I think one of the deeper layers of my soulful um, approach is that once each one of us we find our own soul signature, and we work and live from that place of really being in touch with our soul signature, then then speed happens. Then we get
Hmm.
results both in our personal life and professional life much faster than if we are disconnected from our soul signature, or if we are searching for it.
That makes sense. Right. Looking on the outside of us for what's inside of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, how do you define, before we get too far, actually being soulful?
So being soulful is being connected to this part inside you. Like the soul for me is the pure essence of who we are. So that's the part inside ourselves that regardless of what happens around us, and regardless if we have a bad day or a good day, or we're successful or not, that the parts of us that holds our divine potential with all our attributes and gifts and all the qualities we were born with that are very, very unique for us. So when we live and also lead and work with this soul connection, when we, one, rely on internal guidance and listen to the guidance from our soul, but also show up in the world authentic, really connected to this soul signature, then we live life to the fullest, really, and we we feel so fulfilled and so purposeful with what we do.
How is it like, what is it for you that makes this the thing? Like, you were willing to write a book about it, which to me makes it a pretty big deal, right? Like, what is it that helping people become soulful gives to you? How is that in your soul's signature, or whatever you'd call it?
Right. So um, I, I want to step back for a minute and maybe just define soul signature, and then I'll
Mm-hmm.
come back to your question. So in my book, actually, if you don't mind, I'll just read the what is a soul signature straight from my book.
Yeah.
The definition I give in my book to soul signature is: our soul signature is our personal essence, a unique mix of what we love, what we believe in, and the personal touch we bring to our actions. It's like a fingerprint of the spirit. No two are the same. It's the mark we leave on every task we undertake, every relationship we nurture, and every choice we make. It's our unique expression in the world. Our soul signature is the energy we radiate, the unspoken essence that others feel from us. When we live in harmony with our soul signature, our lives become a true expression of our innermost self.
Mm-hmm.
So the soul signature, I mean, it's not that easy to help people find their soul signature. And that's one of the things I do when I take people through the journey into their souls. But when I think about my soul signature, then I have, I mean, I'm really good in developing trustful and safe relationships with people, both professionally and personally. So I am able, I have the ability to make people feel very seen and very heard and very understood. And I also have the ability to see through them, to really see their potential, because I'm very intuitive. So I intuit and I see the potential that sometimes people don't see that. And because I am so anchored and centered and grounded with this potential that I see in people, then when I coach you or mentor you, I will be your greatest supporter and bring a lot of compassion and empathy to our sessions, but I will also kick your ass and be in your face, because when my intuition tells me something, I don't hold back. I see it as part of my calling or my mission when
Yeah.
I'm into it and I know something, to not let anything stand in my way of telling you that, whatever it is. So I think I'm more directive than traditional coaches. I don't just ask empowering questions to empower others. I'm more directive. So then, taking this to your question and why this mission is so important for me. So looking back at my journey, every time I unknowingly was ready to take the next evolution of my work, and it happened a few times, I had this inner voice in me that nudged me to step into a step outside my comfort zone. And it was really uncomfortable. I remember the first time it happened was when I was already a social worker, I got my degree, I worked as a social worker. I felt like I don't have the ability to see the person as a whole. And I started to feel like I'm not able to get deep, like my intuition would say something, but the skills I learned in school will directly to a different route, and I will gradually choose to listen to my intuition. And then I saw that I got better results. So that was like a nudging voice that something was off. Then years later, I became a certified life coach. And then again, I had a nudging voice from within. So something felt off. And now, recently, like a few years ago, I met with a mentor, a coach that never met me before, first meeting. And then I tell her everything that I do, and I describe a signature experience I developed. It's called the Journey into the Soul. And she says to me, "Oh my God, you are so unique. You are so intuitive. You created something so cool. Nobody else is doing it the way you are doing that." And it was like her reflecting this to me. I was like, wow, that's correct. And she said, and nobody knows, like the world needs to know. And that was like a moment where I realized that, you know, I keep myself very safe. I have amazing results when I take people through my method and my journey into the soul, but then I keep it very safe. And that was a calling for the world to know it, which led to me writing the book and bringing like almost 30 years of experience and work into a framework, a structure that I can present in a way that other people will take this structure and integrate it with whatever they do. And once I did that, then it became so important for me to share it with the world and to maybe find therapists and coaches and professionals that are eager, you know, like I was, to take the next evolution of my work and integrate soulfulness with what they do. And it's not easy for me even right now. It's not easy. It's really outside my comfort zone.
To be talking about it and to be centering your work?
More, no, I think that what specifically is outside my comfort zone. So because I helped women for so many years, and that was my niche, like women, deep trauma healing and transitions, loss. I'm so comfortable doing that when I had to make the decision about who I write the book to, and even what the title is, I decided to go with Becoming Soulful: 6 Keys for Profound Transformation in Your Therapy, Coaching, or Healing Practice. And even now, I have moments. It's so easy. If this was just a self-help book without the professional piece of it, because it's a really good self-help book, and I get so much amazing feedback from women that are going through the book, and they're like, "This is why did you write it for professionals? I'm changed by this book." So I have my moments even now, that I'm like, did I make a mistake? Like, you know, reaching to the stars and saying, I want to make more impact. So I want to reach professionals and help them integrate that. It could be so much easier for me right now if I was just talking about women or even individuals that want to create a profound transformation. Why did I have to stretch myself, you know? And so, but I have this really desire to make bigger impact, and through professionals, I can get to more people. But I think that every time we step into the next evolution of our work, like I'm doing now, it's not comfortable.
Correct.
And we'll have moments of doubt. I don't know if you can connect to it just based on what I heard on your podcast. Probably you can connect to it when you look back at your journey.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's like, it would be weird if it didn't feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah. But I think from a marketing standpoint, as a person just out in the world, living her own life, buying a book that's for practitioners, I think it's a little bit of an up level for the reader in a cool way. Like, why not? Why can't I read the books that are for the teachers? Like that never hurts.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. So yeah, but I know. So I am living my life guided by my inner voice, by my soul. So I know it's the right thing for me to do, and I know that that's how I can contribute really to a better world through having more impact, um, empowering professionals to connect to their souls and really align with who they are. And I get
Mm-hmm.
incredible feedback from people that I guide them through the process. I'm just saying that having those moments of doubts are just part of the journey, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's a part of that work of being at a crossroads that you were mentioning. And I want to hear your definition of a comfort zone and how like there's comfort zones and then there's when we realize that comfort zone or that box. Like for you, you were a social worker and that comfort zone got to be uncomfortable. And then you were a coach and that comfort zone got to be uncomfortable. So you had to make a new zone. You had to make that change. First, can we define comfort zone? And two, can you just talk about some of the symptoms of comfort zones becoming uncomfortable?
I think that I'll start actually from the second part, I think, and then it will be easier for me to then think about the definition. But I think that what's uncomfortable with the when we were ready to step out of our comfort zone is that usually we don't get a message that says, okay, now it's time to step out of our comfort zone. That's not
Doesn't
how we
come in the
know.
mail.
No, no, no. There is no note that we didn't see about that. We we start to feel like something is missing, or we're lacking the same passion we had before, or we are not looking forward to do what we're doing the same way as before, and we start to have more doubt and definitely some fear. Something just doesn't feel aligned, doesn't feel right anymore, and it can definitely be something that felt really good before
Mm-hmm.
until it didn't. So
Which is
I think
confusing.
it's very confusing, right? And I think so. The comfort zone, like you said, it's a very dynamic process. When we take a stretch, we take a step forward, and we feel good in our comfort zone until we don't. And then what was our comfort zone then became just an opportunity for us to step out of it and step into our greatness, because we have a comfort zone and we have a greatness, but it's a dynamic process. What used to be what used to be a greatness now became a comfort zone. And sometimes I think about it, is it the same for all people? Like, are there other people out there that are not very, let's say, they're not very aware, or they're not very motivated, or
Or they're
um,
super content.
ambitious. Yes, and they're just good where they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I often talk about the spiral of personal growth, how when it's not a linear process, so when we have a low moment in our spiritual growth, we sometimes forget that this low moment is actually higher than the spiral before. But
Yeah.
people who are aware and people who are committed to continue and grow, it works in spirals. We have low moments and high moments. And maybe there are people out there that they don't stretch themselves as much. And what I've seen also, I have a really big spiritual community, because I've been teaching Reiki for many years, and I have more than 3,000 people that have trained with me. And what I've seen with people that hold the spiritual practice is that they keep wanting to grow and to change and to grow. And then there is the next spiral and the next spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it even feels like this is unfair, we're so committed to
Mm-hmm.
our journey, and then there is another stretch and another stretch. So
Yeah.
that's how I see the comfort zone.
I
Does
think
it
it's
make sense?
interesting that it's like a comfort zone can be the person who is consistently evolving. And it's actually the most uncomfortable to not let yourself evolve or to try to take a break from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. But uh, one of the reasons why it really makes sense that it will be uncomfortable and there will be another spiral and another spiral is what is how I define success. Okay, so I define success in the language of the soulfulness. And when we think about our soul's purpose, like again, this pure essence of who we are, this part of us who's always okay, regardless of what happens around. And our soul's purpose is for us to experience life to the fullest. And our soul's purpose is to actually grow and learn and expand through our physical body, through us. And how our soul grows and learns is through our emotional world, which means that for the soul, there are no negative emotions or positive emotions. And happiness is not better than sadness, and courage is not better than fear. It's all part of the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if our soul's purpose is to experience all range of emotions and be okay with everything, the light and the dark and the courage and the fear and the hope and the defeated, and everything is all part of the human experience, then our soul, she doesn't care about achievement and productivity and results. She cares about us living life to the fullest, which means that if I am sad and I'm crying, that's part of the human experience. So
Mm-hmm.
success, the way I see it, aligned with our soul, is living life to the fullest and experience it all human experience. That's how I define success.
Yeah. And you said it has that individual signature. So my fullest looks different than your fullest, looks different than my neighbor's fullest. That's all individual.
Right. And imagine that, you and I, as professionals, as leaders in the world, if we were really connected, fully connected with our uniqueness. I remember that when this mentor said to me, "You're doing something so unique, nobody else is doing it like you." And the first thing that came to mind was, this is so not humble to say that. And
Mm.
I don't want to take it to an ego place. But then I was like, yes, I do. I do have amazing results. And I did create something that is so unique. Nobody else is doing it the same way that I'm doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
imagine that each one of us, all professionals as well as all individuals, we were so in touch with and okay, like, and embodying it and saying, what I bring to the world is so unique. Nobody else is doing it like me. And if each one of us really embodies it, how it has a ripple effect on the world.
Right. There's so many instances where we see that for other people, and we're so glad they brought it forward. We can also have that gratitude for ourselves.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and I think one of the things that brings me so much joy now, um, not only since the book is out, because even before the book was out, I take professional through this process for years. I just didn't give it like a name and a framework. But
Mm-hmm.
what brings me so much joy is to see therapists and coaches and healing professionals that are going through the 6 keys that I present in my book, either doing private work with me, but also group work that I do often. And then the journey they go through when they journey through the 6 keys really gets them to a place where they're not only changed by it, but they found their unique way, unique voice. They feel good about living so authentically.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a conversation with one of the women that she's a professional. She went through my program, the Soulful Healer program. And she said that she saw really growth in her business, more clients. She said even more income. And I was surprised about that because I don't talk about that. It's not part of like income or, and I said, how, why, how, tell me. And she was like, I'm so much more anchored in my
Mm-hmm.
values. I know who I am. I am so much more centered and grounded and feel so empowered and so much in touch with my inner resources that I really feel like I show up differently for my
Yeah.
clients. Like I'm present in a different way. And I am no longer drained so much like I was before. I no longer have this conflict between me as a professional, as me and a person, and all this energy that I really wasted in the past to just all the effort, on trying to show up the best that I can. Now it happens naturally. So I attract to myself more clients, more money. And I was surprised by that because that's not my focus, but that was her experience, what happened to her.
Because it seems like becoming soulful is becoming more energetically aligned, and money is energy. So the more aligned we are, the more things can flow easily to us.
Yes, exactly.
Makes sense. So what's your hope for a practitioner who picks this up? So a coach is listening, they go pick up your book. What do you really want the legs to be of this movement?
A good question. I have a really big vision. And like I said, I have my moments now of like, how am I going to even get that? And then what my soul and my inner voice is saying to me, you're already on your way. It's a journey. So I want, a professional who picks up the book to feel that, maybe the same knowing from within, like that they're on the right path, and that to continue and do what they do and find their own soul signature, and maybe create signature offerings, but also to know that they're not alone and they have a support, the support of the framework that I offer in the book, the support of me if they choose to connect with me, and also the support of the community. So in the book, and tell me if it's okay just to read it. In the book, I present the Soulful Healer Manifesto. Is it okay if I read part of
Let's hear it?
And the Soulful Healer Manifesto is really my wish, my prayer, my vision. That's what I see when more and more people are integrating this into their practice. Then, that's the Soulful Healer Manifesto. It's funny.
The elusive manifesto.
Yes, I'll read part of it. Okay. We stand together as a collective, knowing that healing together outshines healing alone. We recognize the interconnectedness of the mind, body, spirit, and soul, and champion an integrated approach to our sacred work. We prioritize self-care. We are humble yet confident in our gifts. We navigate challenges with grace. We listen to inner guidance, allowing our souls to speak. We create safe spaces for healing. We uncover root causes and lead with grounded wisdom. As guides for transformation and self-discovery, we serve as conduits for healing, influencing the collective consciousness. By embodying healing in our own lives, we facilitate healing in the lives of others. Empowered to empower others, we create freedom inside and out. Together, we infuse our lives with greater empowerment, spirituality, authenticity, insight, vitality, and embodiment. In the symphony of healing, we are bound by a shared journey toward holistic well-being. As one, we dance to the rhythm of our unique hearts and souls, expanding our impact and leaving a lasting mark on the world. And I want any professional and individual, but we're talking about professionals who reads the manifesto, this manifesto, to say, I want that. I want to be part of that. How do I get there? Like, help me. I want to know. That's really my vision, like that you feel so supported, compelled, and so like, you found your home when you read it and it speaks to you. And those are the professionals that I want to attract to myself.
Yeah. Okay. So if you just heard that and you feel called forth, go get the book. The book was written just for you.
Exactly. Yes.
Is there anything that a coach listening that you would want to offer them, or any last words of wisdom today?
I think that I invite, any professional, any coach to challenge the conventional methods and tools and strategies and the trends and what we're supposed to do if we market correctly and all that, to really challenge all this noise and to see that our soul has the potential to be our perfect guide. And if we take this journey inwardly, because we have all the knowledge and the skills and the coaches and the programs and the books and everything, but if each one of us will take it inwardly to our own soul and rely not only on our intellect and our expertise and our skills and everything, but on the guidance that we receive from within, on our inner wisdom, on our intuition, on the wisdom of the soul, then we receive the best guidance that we can, and we'll be so supported on this journey.
Agree. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. I think it's a good example for coaches listening about that moment that we can get to where we can't not write the book. Like there's the idea of, oh, I'll write a book or I'll be an author. And then there's the moment of, no, I have a method and I actually need to get it out of me and I have to write this book and I'm going to up level by doing it. And I think you're such a good example of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank Michal for being here, for her interview, and for writing a book, and for being an example for those of us who are coaching our faces off and working in whatever healing way we do, of what's possible for us, of when you've done it for long enough and in similar ways, and you've seen the results that eventually a method falls out or you excavate it painfully, and a book can come out of that, and a book can create opportunities for so much more healing on such a broader scale. So it's a bold move to write it and to sell it and to show up and to promote it. And it's a lot of work. And so I appreciate her taking the time to be here and for your listening. And yeah, go ahead and grab the link in the show notes if that manifesto called to you, the book is for you. All right. We'll have that in the show notes. And for everybody who's listening, if you are a coach who is making your way from 0 to 5K months, you're a total professional and you just want to get this thing solid and have your foundation set, join me in my membership, Comfortable in Business. That's built exactly for you. All right. Thanks for being here today.